Hey, we're there. We had a little intro. You weren't even looking, were you?
I got bored waiting.
So mean. Right, we're not faffing about in this beginning bit.
Right, we're not faffing.
No. So let's do it. You can do an introduction for a change. Go for it. Go for your life.
I don't want to.
Do it.
All right. Good evening, warriors. You're joining us this evening from our usual studio. We attempt to talk about all things spiritual or mythical, mysterious, paranormal, ethereal.
Weird.
Yeah, just things that are out of the ordinary, different. So my name's Penny and I'm an empath, a dowser, a doula, a Reiki master teacher, a advanced master herbalist, amongst many other things. Who are you?
Inferior is what I feel.
That's just day to day.
My name's Alistair and I'm a pagan, medium, spiritual life coach. And I like to think of a good question. Clever answers are good, but I like a good question. So tonight, what should we talk about, Penny?
Well, you very helpfully put out that we was talking about orbs, but
did.
didn't share that with me.
Did you seen the event, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw the event after the fact.
Oh.
So we're going to do a little bit of a conversation about orbs and our experience of orbs.
If you're there, put a little comment or a love heart or something.
Or
Just
if you've got any information about orbs.
Give us some feedback, people.
Or any opinions about orbs.
So what do we know about orbs?
Well, what we know about orbs is that we have to be very careful not to assume that all orbs are visitors from the spirit world. They can be something called backscatter. Backscatter is...
Sounds like something that happens on a farm. After I've cleared the field, right, go and backscatter it.
It's a optical phenomenon. Have to give you the opportunity to do that.
Now we've got a love heart. Yay.
Resulting
Thank
in
you for the love.
circular artifacts that appear in photographs. And they can be from dust.
Dust, anyone?
No. They can be from water droplets or other particles in the air. They can be from insects as well. Because usually there's some kind of light source that would encourage moths, perhaps tiny moths and tiny bugs, to fly towards the light source, which is generally the camera or a person's eyes. Why are moths obsessed with flying at people's faces?
I don't know. I've never had a moth fly at my face. Have you had moths fly at your face? Let us know. Answers on a postcard, or is it just Penny?
No, they do. It's like they
It's
do.
because your face is a ray of shining light, and they're drawn to the light.
You're quite tired and manic, aren't
I
you?
am really tired and manic.
This is going to be a fun one, peeps. So I've got some cracking photos of orbs that I'm going to find because they're somewhere safe, and I got in from work and was quite tired, and we've just had time to eat dinner before we've had to get started. But I will find the photos and we'll pop them up on the Wiccan Warriors Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll put them on there.
So you can share your own photos of orbs or tell us what you think. So one of them was absolutely enormous, and what it looks like is that I have a gigantic afro.
Oh yeah, I remember
the
that one.
orb is over my head, bizarrely, and that photo was taken at Clop Hill, which is that Bedfordshire?
Not sure.
I can't remember. And the other photo that I have that's a really good one actually is an absolutely huge orb between myself and another sensitive at Broughton Church ruins. And it is amazing. It is amazing to see. It looks like the sun, quite low.
Yeah.
But it is in fact an orb.
Marion's just said hi.
Hi,
Evening, Marion.
I haven't said that for ages. Hi, Marion.
I think Marion's at a show, or is she home now? No, she'll be home now because it's Sunday night, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what day it is. I've been at work every single day.
Sunday night.
So when we see pictures of orbs, we have to put on common sense brain first and look at what is the likelihood that it is something within the room that has created that illusion or that optical phenomenon.
No. You're getting technically. I think it falls under two things: light reflection and light refraction.
Oh, see, you've gone sciencey now. I'm probably mainly knowledged out now.
I think.
So.
I mean, I could be wrong because I'm not massively into photography, and I'm still learning about technology that we can use to try and capture ghost phenomenon. So I'll let you have a go. So yeah, reflection is effectively you're taking a photo of whatever's in front of you. The light is just reflecting off of that.
Okay.
So the orb that you're seeing is the light reflected off of something, as opposed to refracted, which is it's come off the back of the lens in the camera and it's now on the front of the inside of the glass of the lens.
That's that thing with the green light.
Yeah, when
green circles of light that you see.
Yeah, you get refraction's quite common because it's the light reflecting off the inside of the lens and the glass.
Okay.
But like you said, a lot of the times orbs, I think, it's just dust. And where do people video them? Old, dusty, abandoned places.
Well, you say that, but on one of our videos, I can't remember which week it was, there was quite a lot of orb.
Well, that was what I was going to say. It's all right to kind of class 90% of orb stuff in an old derelict house as dust.
Mm-hmm.
But if you stood in the middle of a field, that
you
narrows the options down of what potentially could come
that
through
wouldn't
the
necessarily
image.
be dust, but there would definitely be particles in the air, and there'd be insects in the air if you're outdoors.
Yeah, but an insect shows up, it's different. You don't get that blown look of light that
what
you
you're
get.
looking for when you're looking at working out whether something is an orb or not is what movement it has and whether it follows the normal movement of dust or insects.
So it remains
so if something
inanimate.
is moving around like that, it is likely to be an insect. If something or is flying in a particular direction, it is likely to be a particle of something, potentially dust. If you have something that does a sharp angle change and then a different movement, that's when you're looking at that isn't a particle, that isn't an insect. What is that?
Yeah, it goes from being an inanimate reflection off a piece of dust to something that's potentially animated, an animate object. I've had too much coffee. I'm really stretching for the big words tonight. Oh, well, I'll have another bit then.
Have a bit more. So
I feel like I've been drinking coffee solid from about 9 o'clock last night.
You have. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So the other thing is,
Hold on,
what
2 seconds.
does it look like? If you're able to zoom in on the orb, what can you see in it? So some of them, and here you've got to consider pareidolia as well, in that we will...
Hold on. What's pareidolia, Penny?
Pareidolia is when
I know you were all thinking it.
Look for faces in things, and it's an automatic response that we do it. We look at patterns in fabric or in carpets, and we do it looking in the clouds as well. Wallpaper is a really good one for looking for faces in. You can generally see some kind of face.
Drank too much whiskey once at one night at a mate's house and did pareidolia on a stamp stain that was on his wall that turned into an owl, but it flew at me. I think I'd had way too much alcohol that night.
Alcohol?
Yeah, it was just alcohol, but it was the special billing alcohol from the Cooper's yards.
Oh.
That's a whole other story about how you get free alcohol in Scotland.
The stuff you're supposed to throw away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not good for you. So yes, it's can you see a face in it and or a shape in it. And what I've this is not from my knowledge. I'm going to use a source for this information. So you can also have different colours of orbs, and some people have attempted to work out what the colours indicate. So one source, I'm not going to read all the colours, says that if you see red in orbs, then there is stress and restlessness around. If you see yellow, it means caution, be careful. Green is for healing or fertility. Light blue is tranquility. White is high frequency or protection.
So that's the only one I've ever seen.
Right. I've seen them like soap bubbles where they have different colours in them.
Yeah, I've found 2 in my footage that we've not spoken about yet.
Right.
From last night. I found 2. One is what I classed as a drifty floater. So you get that little bit and you can kind of go, it might be dust on a breeze.
Yeah.
And the next one's the one that's the stringy one, which I think is probably, I need to have a look at it properly on the computer. I think it's just going to be a cobweb. Yeah. But, well, I don't know about cobwebs because the walls were wet where I was. So that was weird. There wasn't really any spiders down there.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I need to have a closer look at that. But they're kind of orb-y.
Yeah. But it's, and at what time are you seeing them? What is the connection to the picture that you've taken?
The pictures I've got with orbs in,
or the video,
most of the ones I've ever seen that have been in my family are ones where we've taken the photo of the kid ready in the brand new school uniform, ready for the school the next day. It's always a monumental moment, a birthday party. They're the ones my maternal mum must have quite a few photos that have got orbs in the back because I remember seeing them as a kid.
There's a really good video that I believe I've got. I'm not going to put it up, but there's a video of my grandson when he was little, like 18 months, 2 years.
Right.
And he'd been having conversations with himself in a room for on and off for ages. And on this particular occasion, he stands up in the room and it's like he's looking up at somebody and he's chattering away and then
they're here.
Like he's listening to a response, and then he chatters a little bit more and then he puts his arms up to be lifted up.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, you have. And on that video there are orbs around him as well, which is interesting. So could be dust.
I've got some orb pictures of the kids when they were, like I say, there were pictures when they had their new Battling Brook school uniforms on. They were sat on the sofa and there was orbs in that.
Or is it relatives from the other side coming over to say, have a nice first day of school?
Yeah, well, I think it's that. That's the romantic side of spirituality. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
I like that idea. The other bit we didn't sort of mention with orbs is how you've got them as well, because a digital camera will produce different kinds of orbs to an SLR, and it will produce different to phone cameras because of the space between the lenses and the processor.
Right.
And also how, like, a digital camera has got, it takes the image and then processes it. So there, where you've just said about colors, the actual processing algorithm may actually expect that piece of refraction to be white and edit the whole thing because it's digitally going to make the best image it can from what it's trying to see. Whereas an SLR, you just go click and it takes an image. When it's a digital photo, there's an algorithm involved.
Solid white, that's not considered necessarily an orb.
But it is important.
Whether there's movement or shape within it.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that there's different ways, there's different kinds of orbs that you get.
Stop sciencing it. We don't want that.
Phone would be different to an SLR, which would be different to a digital camera, which would be different to a phone.
Different phones.
Yeah, and different phones will have different processors because your phone is much better at videoing at night than mine is.
Yes.
But if I stand outside in the absolute pitch black and take a photo with that, it's awesome, which you'll see on
absolutely.
some of the stuff I've taken.
You've got some amazing.
The photo quality of it is really good, but the video quality on it is not quite so good at night, I didn't think. Or it could have just been the location.
But there is quite a lot of orbs on one of our videos that we did in here.
We have a comment.
There was no change.
We got carried away
of
chatting there.
pace.
So there we go, Chris. So how can you distinguish between an orb or just a camera flash on a photo?
So we have kind of covered that.
Yeah, an orb needs to have that sense of it's controlling its own destiny, its own movement. Seems more precise than random.
That's in videos.
Yeah.
That's in videos. In photos, again, you're looking for how much can you enhance the photo so that it's easier to see, to make it bigger. And you're looking for colours and shapes and potentially faces within that particular shape.
But it's relatively easy to practice with. If you just get whatever camera you've got and try and take a photo of a bright light source and move it around, and you'll start to see where your camera refracts to. Hence why I get green dots when I take photos of the moon. I always get a green dot roughly that far away from the moon.
Somebody contacted us and said, can you tell me what this is? There's a green dot in the lawn, and it wasn't. It was on their window because it was the reflection from the phone. Yeah,
and my camera does exactly the same. And I think some of that is the algorithm. But if you've got an old SLR camera and you've taken it and you've got a flash, you're only getting one fixed light source. So you're either taking a photograph of the light reflecting off of an object, or it's the light reflecting off of the inside of the camera lens, which has already been reflected off the inside of the camera.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, Chris? I hope so.
I got lost. I stopped listening. I'm just looking to see.
Thanks for your question, though. It's a
if
good
there
question.
is a specific response to that, because I can only give you a response from my experience.
Oh yeah, I was only doing
it. Mean that I'm.
I was only doing an educated guess.
An educated one. Okay, so let's have a look.
If you're wondering what I'm messing with, because I'm fidgety today, I've got one of these. What do they class it as? You called it
a worry stone.
A worry stone. I called it a fidget stone because it's
a fidget stone.
It's got like a scoop on the inside, so it's really good. You just kind
of. This is about backscatter.
Sorry, was I off on a tangent there that you weren't comfortable with, talking about my stones?
I thought you'd finished. Have you not finished discussing your stones?
I have now, yes.
Right.
Let's move on.
So, when in low light settings, your camera may pick up ghost-like orbs when recording. Don't worry, there's nothing supernatural going on. These orbs are called backscatter or near camera reflection. Backscatter happens when dust, water droplets or other particles are present or very close to the lens, causing light to reflect through the unfocused images. Additionally, a camera facing out of a window using night vision or with persistent status light can result in lower image quality overall. If they appear to be moving, it is likely dust particles in the air floating close to the camera lens.
Dust. Anyone?
Location, as we said, can make a difference. But it is about, if you know that the lens is clear, if you know that there's no obvious visible movement or anything happening within the room, and then you capture the photo. Or interestingly, there are some really good photos online of orbs that are in particular family photos only next to a particular person. So next to one child, and every time they've had their photo taken at a significant point, there is an orb that is near them. That's too frequent and yet irregular for it to be dismissed as environmental.
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So you took them at irregular intervals through their life, but it's appearing in the same place next to the same child, no matter where you photograph them. So there's a regularity and an irregularity at the same point, but it is only occurring next to one child. Then that child is potentially having a visitor,
Damien,
or somebody watching over them.
yes.
Oh, what film was that in that she noticed? Was that Sixth Sense?
Oh, answers on a postcard. Sorry, answers on a
Was
comment.
that Sixth Sense? And the mum noticed that there was a bright light next to the boy in all the photos on the wall.
It could have
It's
been.
one of
I'm not
those
sure.
kind of films, I'm
I
sure.
don't know. But I think it does eventually boil down to common sense.
Yeah, if you've
So you've
ruled
got to look
out
at
all the
Yeah, you look at it subjectively.
yeah. So if you can rule out all the obvious, logical, common sense, practical things, whatever is left that isn't explainable or normal is paranormal.
But I also think, going back to this kind of orb logic, although the orb is the focal point, the energy itself is stretching from there, like we've seen in that orb video that we had to retract, that we'll hopefully one day show you. You can see at the end of it where it slowly changes shape.
Absolutely, because that was a clear circle.
Yeah.
That moved across, and then it got to a certain point, which we believe was a contact point where there was stronger energy linked to potentially the manifestation. So it went circle, 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 and then seemed to morph up.
Yeah.
Into a figure, maybe.
Yeah, it did. It changed. But what I was going to say is it has, although you can see that spot point, that is the little focal point that you can see. The spirit itself is at either end of that. So they're still walking tall. Effectively, it's like you'd be just seeing one dot in the middle of that person, because that's the focal point of their energy.
Okay.
So that's what you can see.
The nucleus.
Yeah, that's the nucleus. But everything else around them is still physically as it would have been beforehand.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm speculating.
It's quite difficult to prove.
It's an uneducated pagan guess. What do you want?
Don't know. Anybody got any questions? Does
any more questions?
Any,
Maybe you sit and watch and thinking,
experiences?
orbs are just rubbish. What are you on about?
Then bless you for watching this for this amount of time. Because if
Then,
you
yeah,
think
fair.
that way, you've been watching this for the last 20 odd minutes.
Yeah, you've
talking
left it too
absolute
late to
nonsense
debate
if
now.
You don't believe it. Yeah, it's a bit like to back out and say, I don't believe it.
I've been seeing them in photos since I was a kid.
Yeah.
My paternal mum showing me photos. Go, oh, there's an orb in this one. And they were cameras that you couldn't, well, my mum couldn't have edited it and done anything with it because they were just, well.
No, but the systems
Cameras.
weren't that great in the dust particles and things.
Oh, to damage the development process. Yeah.
It could have been that, I suppose.
Especially if it was during the time of Kodak when Mickey was working there.
So bad. Most people who lived in Northampton at some point worked at Kodak.
Oh.
I know other people that work there too. But yeah, if you know any more about
Orbs, if you've got an orb picture, send it to us. Let us have a chat. Let us have a look at it.
we won't necessarily be able to show you on the screen because we haven't worked that bit out yet. But
yeah, I think we've got to pay for Pro or something on this thing to do it. I'm not sure. I'll figure something
we'll
out.
have to look in the settings. But there is a reason.
Push comes to shove, we'll just hold our phone in front of the camera.
Yeah, if nobody else has got a question about orbs or anything interesting for now, how about we move on to a different topic? Because we've covered that a little bit.
We have, what is it? Well, exactly 25 minutes. Boom. Look at that.
It's a plan.
I've just had an idea. Right.
Oh, God.
It's at 26.7. Look up there. Look, and watch this bit. Watch. Just keep watching just there. Keep watching just there. Cheers. All will become clear later. Right, carry on.
I feel like I should be a part of what's going on.
No, I'll explain to you after. I'm not telling you guys.
Oh, right, okay. I love it when you spring stuff on me.
That's because I only just thought of it.
Right, so there is a reason why we're both quite weird and manic and off topic a little bit.
Yeah.
Struggling a bit for focus. Although I think we blagged that bit quite well.
We did.
That we were focused.
We do know what we're talking about.
We do a bit. So, I've been at work a lot, hence my tiredness, including today. But because I had to get up very early for work this morning, I couldn't go somewhere yesterday, but you could.
I could.
So, where did you go last night, Alistair?
Last night, I met up with one of our friends, a spooky Mickey person, mate, Mickey York, and we went to Hellfire Caves. Where are they again?
West Wickham.
West Wickham.
I don't know where that is.
I don't either. Mickey drove. I drove to his house, jumped in his car with all our kit, and we took off. Road trip style. It was great.
Okay. So.
Absolutely rained the whole way there. It was terrible.
It was horrendous weather everywhere.
It was horrible driving. Mickey did a good job in a little Audi A3 driving in that rain because the window wipers couldn't go quick enough. so fair play to him.
Forward, have we got a comment?
Oh, we have. Marion just dropped in there. I've not heard about orbs before. Always thought it was a camera blip. No, not always.
No. It's interesting. Honestly, look on the internet. It's amazing. Some of the photos that are out there, it's amazing. Okay, so let's go back. So you've just given it away.
So Marion,
all the details.
Yeah. No, that was it. Hellfire Caves. That's where I went. Like I said, I met up with Mickey. He was recording it for his YouTube channel, which I think I whittled down to just his Mickey York channel.
Okay.
Because he's got a couple.
Which, of course, when it's live,
and it was good. It was a. What do they class them as? An event.
It is an event.
It was a paranormal investigation.
It was actually a charity event.
It was a charity event. I can't remember what it was, but they've raised quite a chunk of money.
Oh, I'll remember a name in a minute.
At some point, if somebody from Paracom watches this, put a link to the charity and stuff on the video. I think it was
for one of the Paracom team who has been diagnosed with an unpleasant illness.
Oh, bless them. Yeah, I think it was. They did say that. But yeah, I'd never been on one of these. That was my first ever paranormal investigation with what I'd class as a professional team. And Paracom I thought were really good. It was such a warm welcome when I got there. It's like they already knew me. Unless they've been scouring through my Facebook or something.
The ghost hunting community is super welcoming.
Yeah, no, that was really good. It was really warm welcome straight away. Me and Mickey got a chance to set up and then go and have a quick look before, because we both took footage to produce videos. His will be much better than mine because he had a 4K night vision camera. I had an iPhone, but I have got some footage to put together of it. And if you get a chance to go, I would recommend going.
What's Hellfire Caves?
Yeah. But I warn you, it's for a family ticket to go in and walk around is £24. So it's not cheap to go for a walk around the caves. But let's start at the beginning, because this was the first time I'd ever been on one of these. So I was kind of unsure as what to do. Oh, somebody sent you an actual...
Yeah.
Ah, excellent.
I would say that that's an orb.
Yeah. I would say so.
Oh, I don't know, though. If it is...
There's no particular light source.
Okay, here's the thing. No, I would say because there isn't a specific light source, that would make me think it is. However, I don't know because that's really clear. And it's a circle, and you can see the wallpaper. There is no break to the pattern.
Were you thinking like a development blemish?
No, I was actually thinking, this is really inappropriate. I was actually thinking, is it a stain on the wall? It's a perfect circle, like a coffee cup ring, but there is no change to the pattern. on
I'm not sure.
on the wall. Not that I can see, but then I can't.
Once we finish
zoom
this,
that well.
if you're all right with this, Chris, we'll put it in the comments of this video. And then when I re-edit it to do the YouTube channel, I'll just drop it into the actual channel.
We don't have to. My first thought would
right.
be it's no stain.
I'll add the rest of that for
Then
you. It's no stain, you cheeky bugger.
Oh,
is what he wanted to put at the end
no,
of that.
I was doing the sensible, analytical part of it, in that my immediate response was that you had a visitor. And then I was doing the sensible thing of let's look at the placement, what we can see inside and
is the chair
outside.
up against the wall, or is there a position to be able to stand at the back of there? Because that's the other thing. Remember we said about orbs have that kind of presence, so they're not generally in. So if it's there, it would be stood behind him. But if it's against the wall,
I don't necessarily agree with that. But then you like it when I don't agree with you.
We always agree on everything, don't we, baby?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be inclined to say that you have a visitor in that photo.
Yeah.
And if you're certain that that's not a stain, I would be
what a cheek.
inclined to believe that.
Can I go back to telling my story now?
I don't think that's camera flash because of the placement.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Because where it appears, and there's nothing else in any other part of the photo, it is just next to you, implies a closeness to you.
The other thing you can get with a light refraction as well, you've have seen this in movies and TV and stuff, when a camera pans round to the sun and you get a series of dots, like a series of orb lights.
Right, yeah.
Sometimes in orb pictures, you can actually, if you look further down the picture at an angle, you'll see where the light angle is going to where there's possibly other orbs.
Yeah.
But if those orbs are dotted around, that's even more, but that's different.
Yeah, but that's one in a random placement, and it's off to the side. It's not central to the photo being taken. It is at a random point, but it's a very clear circle that is massively see-through, so you can clearly see the pattern of the wallpaper behind. It's quite difficult. One, I haven't got my glasses on, so
yeah. But thank you for sending it to us,
do the best
Chris.
you can. Yeah, absolutely.
Like I say, if you're okay with us putting it on there, or we can just crop it down to that bit.
Yeah. Or not. If you don't want us to, that's absolutely fine as well.
Anyway, can I go back to my story now?
Sorry, I thought we should jump on that very quickly. We kind of said send us stuff, and then somebody did.
We have to deal with viewers.
You're shocking. I apologise, people.
No, I like this interacting.
So I don't know what you were talking about because I wasn't listening. I was looking on there.
I was talking about when we first got there.
Okay.
So
before you slip into your lovely story, it's not somewhere I've ever been. So for the last 40 years, it's been, did you say 40 years?
Yeah,
it's
that's
been
46.
a really commercial.
Yeah, it's been a visitor
venue.
centre.
Yeah, so people of all ages.
Similar to Warwick Castle, it's that sort of logic.
Yeah.
Once they realised there was something marketable. I mean, it does have an alleged dark, sinister past. No, it's history. Abusive monks and ministers that raped and did all kinds of weird stuff to women.
That's us straight on.
Just the classic old stuff, you know, because we had bugger all else to do back then, but sacrifice women, and that was it.
So
I did find it quite ironic that it was part of the church. Just saying. Nobody's ever found a pagan temple full of people that have been raped and pillaged. They weren't the pagans.
They're more up for it.
No, that's because you were supposed to say no, because that was the Druids. Right. So yeah. So
People's Front of Judea.
Yeah,
Judean People's Front.
So yeah. So we got there. The event run by Paracom.
So it's Specifically, it is caves.
It's a series of tunnels.
Small walls.
Yeah,
Sorry.
series of small walls. You've got like a tunnel entrance, and then you follow that tunnel, and you've got kind of choices. It goes into V's. There's like a circle one. You can go left or right, but it all goes to the same place. And then
That's
you get to
weird.
the next one, and there's another bit called a triangle, where again you can go left or right, but it all comes to the
Are you
same
sure
place.
it wasn't on the adventure game?
I'll tell you what I did find
Only
funny.
people of a certain age will know that game.
I did find it funny because at one point I was there and I looked, and it got like a map on the wall, and it got like an arrow that said "You are here."
And it was just cave.
No, and I was like,
Cave, like
"That's
spaghetti.
clever. How did it know?
Well, how did the map know?
How
that
did
you
the
were
map
there?
know I was going to be there?" Weird. So yeah, and then at the bottom of it, you've got like a circular chamber, and then there was another bit right at the bottom, which was the.
Was it another cave?
No, they weren't caves. It was like rooms, but there's loads of bits that was all blocked off. And you know what I'm like for flow of energy in a room and how things, and it kind of I kept stopping and going to Mickey. There's something goes that way, but it's all sealed off now. But there's definitely something goes that way.
I'd love to have had my dowels and rods down there.
But I did. I mean, like it was the first time I've been to an event, so I was quite surprised when there was all this gadgetry coming out, because I've seen little bits of it in ghost boxes stuff, but I don't really watch paranormal investigative
The thing
channels.
is, people like to be involved, and unless you are a sensitive, and a lot of people believe that they are, and many people are. But how much involvement is there? You're walking around in the dark, usually in quite a cold, damp place. If you haven't got something to do and you're not experiencing anything, it's quite boring, and you've paid a lot of money for that.
Yeah. No, I'm not on about kind of entertainment.
Gadgets, so that they are involved in it, so they can physically see movement, like on a K2 meter with the lights.
Yeah, it was
up. So if you aren't a sensitive, you're still part of it.
Yeah, it was the little pods. I can't remember what they called them.
REM pods.
REM pods. Yeah, they were the ones. And they seem to be the latest thing, which we did have.
They're not the latest.
Well, no, but to me they are. I've never used all this stuff. I just walked into a room and put my hands on the walls. That was how I did it.
Didn't you have a REM pod bear there or something?
Yeah, there was a bear there. I forgot what I was going to say then. Oh yeah, there was down at the very bottom. I think it was called the temple, something like that. It was kind of the end bit, and they put a REM pod down there. And I'd already excellent. Thank you very much, Chris. I'd already seen the light moving, and I kind of went for a wander down there. And I was trying to look around the corner to see where this light was. It was just like a little security backlight. Because by this point, they've turned all the lights off in this cave. It's black as pitch.
Did they use... Oh, I don't know if Mickey's watching us tonight. Did they use one of them light net things?
No, he had some vertical ones.
Really good.
They were like trip ones, so that they like fired white light up if anything went over it or around it.
It's like a net of light. It's basically, it projects a field.
Oh no!
And then if anything moves through it, if a person moves through it, it's the outline of a person.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see any of that, but there was, because there was two teams. There was another team going off doing stuff as well.
I've never really been anywhere where that's worked, where anything's happened with it.
Well, I was getting to the point where I was explaining
that would
about.
Be good. Sorry,
it did work.
I want to get involved.
You've seen it there first, folks. She's swearing at me. It's abuse.
I didn't say anything.
Call the. Oh, hang on. Husband helpline. Is there one?
No.
I need to start one. Anyway, so they put one of these pods down at the entrance to this doorway thing, and then they did something which I don't generally agree with. It's a little bit antagonistic-y. It's that kind of we're trying to motivate the spirits to do stuff. So I kind of get why they're doing it.
Why
but
would they need motivating?
I think it cheapens the experience if with speaking to a spirit in that manner,
disrespectfully.
Yeah.
Entertain us.
What are you here? Do you want to say something? And it was kind of. Sometimes I felt like the tech took over a little bit too much, but because the way it was being done, I wasn't stuck standing there with all these people with all those bits. I just went off for a walk my own to push myself a little bit to see whether or not I could actually end up scared. So I sort of said to Mickey, I was like, right, I'm going to go for a wander around on my own for a bit, and then I'll make my way out. I'm going to go for a fag and a vape and go for get a coffee and stuff, because they kind of did it in stints anyway. And there was only 2 instances while I was walking around where it seemed to get surprisingly dark when it shouldn't have done, and I was immediately disorientated. And that was the only 2 bits where I thought, whoa, that's weird, and I had to stop, put my little head torch thing on, which I didn't put on my head because it would have ruined my mohawk. We tried to fit it without that bit. This is just a little side story. Me and Mickey tried to do it without damaging the mohawk, but it was just digging into my head. And I'm a bit of a sensitive
2 grown men were trying to
work out a head torch and a mohawk. Yeah, it's life stuff, babe. Life stuff. So yeah, so there was 2 moments where they're what I class as I couldn't explain them, because I was walking along and there was vague bits of light you could see from reflections of like emergency escape signs, and there's loads of little green LEDs that are where there was power junctions, and you've got little red lights where all this, because there's so many CCTV cameras in there. At some point they're going to review that and then tell me off for vaping in there. So I said the nature of the game was you can't catch me.
Oh, there's a mist. It's ectoplasm.
That's what I said to Mickey. I said, let's do a video. You can walk through the mist. And Mickey was obviously more sensible and went, no.
And went, no, we don't do things like that.
No, the gorillas have already done that. Sorry. So yeah, those are the 2 instances where it went dark when I didn't feel it should have done, and I felt disorientated where I was literally walking forwards, but it got so dark and so weird that I didn't know whether I was walking left or right, so I had to put a torch on to get my bearings again, and then I was fine again.
Was there a change in level, even a slight change in level? Because
a lot of the times, yeah, because they do sort of twist, all the corners twist. But as an environment for atmospherics, if you like somewhere that's got that kind of atmosphere, then yeah. But it's a 24 quid kind of walk around with the kids. Obviously it weren't that, because we were there till 1 a.m.
And it was a little bit more than 24 quid.
It was. But it was weird as well, because when you come back up, it gets really it got really humid, because the air temperature down there is so much colder. I think Mark had a thermometer on, it was about 58.
Oh, right.
58 degrees, and it was slowly getting colder, but we couldn't.
As it got later at night?
Yeah, we didn't get any. What I was saying, they were trying to do tests for. Yeah, we were sort of looking for cold spots and things, and there wasn't any. We were kind of getting generalized temperature changes in the room. There was one area on a corner, which when I do my video, I'll put, because I tried to stand there a few times and I tried to take some additional photos to try and catch something, because that's where I felt the most kind of foreboding, weird energy. But it didn't come to me as a person or an entity. It was just a general environment feeling, what I class as a psychometric energy.
And much as the giggly people that attend events are annoying, and they're just there for the titillation of it, and they get very excited. Actually, that energy is really good.
And nervous tension. We didn't have any of that
kind of energy.
There was no.
Clearly, the other group did.
The other group there was a lot more girls in that one, and I think I didn't get to speak to everybody on the groups, but I think there was quite a few sensitives actually there. It wasn't just sort of me there. I think there was a few other ladies there that had done stuff. And there was another bloke there who did some weird hypnotism thing on one of the members of Paracom. And I've got no idea what was going on there. He got him having some weird drink. It was right at the very end. And me and Mickey sort of sat there and went, what the heck's going on there? Oh. So, yeah, bloke at Paracom's hypnotising fellow members of Paracom. So fabulous. Don't look into their eyes. Not around their eyes. Don't look into their eyes.
Just in the eyes, not around the room, just in their eyes, and you're under.
But like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I liked the fact that I could just go off for a bit of a wander. Me and Mickey could kind of.
That was your first event.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to speak to more about the event.
You're
the
no
actual...
longer an event virgin.
No, I've been to my first paranormal investigation. Pop me paranormal cherry. But no, like I said, it was a good location. If you're around there and you want that sort of thing, yeah, I would go in there.
Yeah.
But you just got to bear in mind, for the last 40 years, people have been running in there with their kids and pushing pushchairs in there and prams and all of that. Yeah, that changes the energy. And I know I've said this before, and I don't expect people to believe me, because you could quite easily put forward the argument and say that the residual basis for that environment was so evil that that's ingrained into it. And you could put that argument forward. I wouldn't agree with you. And I would say that the energy changes as time changes. It has to refresh and renew and move on.
And I think, because you were saying that the caves actually run down and towards the town, but that's not open to the public.
No.
That's the bit I want to go in.
Yeah, there's loads of caves that have not had the public in, which would be the ones I'd be more interested in.
The pure energy that runs through there.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
secrets
definitely.
that would be down there. That would be so cool.
But no, like I said, I'd recommend, if you see a Paracom event, they were professional, they were fun, it was entertaining, there was a raffle. Raffle prizes were great. Well, Mickey's wasn't. Hope you like your Prosecco, Mickey. Yeah, I hope you were thirsty, Mick. Yeah, I got a Ouija board.
When you go home.
Well, not Ouija board. I got a communication board and a necklace.
Quite a nice communication board. Is that necklace for me?
Yes.
Damn, I would have been wearing that. Where's that? It's in the other room.
Yeah, it's on the table in there.
Whatever.
And I bought one of Mickey's hats as well, one of his ghost school caps.
You won't wear it though, because it will flatten his head.
I can't wear it today because of the mohawk. Or the shark fin, as Mickey called it. But no, as my first paranormal event investigation goes, I had a certain amount of trepidation, because you get a lot of these things, and when I've watched them on YouTube, and it's a lot of gear and no idea, and a lot of people just trying to create content, but to actually be the other side of the camera and sort of in the reality of, we're just a load of people stood in the dark catching fuck all, because that's just how it works sometimes. And I did have a stone actually roll past me. Forgot about that. That was the first thing that happened. As I was walking and coming around this corner, a stone rolled past my foot and carried on. And I sort of stopped and walked back to try and figure out if I could have knocked it, or if there was enough of a slope for it. And there wasn't.
Okay, I've got a question kind of around that. So in an environment like that, that's got a very dark history, about a very malicious energy that is within the entire area.
Yep.
A concern that people have is that they're going to bring something home with them, right? So it's not really a question. It's kind of a conversation now about that.
You're going to ask me if I use protection, because I never did.
Do you think that you could bring... I'm ignoring that.
You're trying to.
I'm trying to remain professional. Do you think that there is a chance that you could bring something home with you?
Yes.
A souvenir.
If there's enough of a connection and enough of familiarity of energy, I think you could. So if you were going to that venue and you're a person that's interested in macabre, Satanist, ritualistic stuff, and I don't mean from I'm just interested in it, as in a practice in it, then I think you probably could. Or you could potentially manifest your own energy doing it.
Okay. So being that you've got a psychological background as well, what are the chances that your fascination with it and your focus on it being so intense that you've convinced yourself, and if you've got anxiety it's even worse, that you've convinced yourself that you've brought something home with you? What is the likelihood of it being that rather than an actual energy transference?
Either, neither. You've got no way of saying for that, because what one person might consider to be something they think quite rational. I mean, I did think about that while I was there, because
I'm not thinking practical people that have a background in this kind of thing will look at all aspects and rationalize as much as they can before they go, I've definitely brought a ghost home with me. Whereas the giggly, excited, I just want to experience something, will instantly go, oh, what did I bring home with me? The doors started banging at night.
Yeah, but that's the same. I think that's the same as when somebody watches a horror film and then they have to put all the lights on when they go to the bathroom.
Yes.
They've got themselves into a mindset. But what I haven't done, I don't think I've told anybody this on here. I went through my grounding routine when I go to a venue.
Yes.
Shall I tell you guys what it is?
Don't give the details.
No, okay.
Because it's personal.
Yeah, it's my grounding routine and how I make sure that I don't potentially bring stuff home. Because even if you're not bringing an entity home, I'm still reading the energy of a dark, sinister building. So I don't want to bring that kind of energy home either. Okay. And that's where, I don't know, we disagree on this, but I don't think there is a thing as bad energy and negative energy. There is just energy, and it's how you use it.
Like there's no such thing as flowers and weeds.
Yes.
They're just weeds of flowers growing in the wrong place.
Exactly. Electricity is electricity. If it's flowing the right way, it's fine. It's safe. You touch it and it's the wrong way, you get electrocuted. And I think
so
it's the same thing.
Respect for the energy makes a difference as to whether you get hurt or not.
Yes.
Oh, that was a deep little moment, a little tangent. I didn't expect us to go down, but absolutely having a healthy respect for energy and how you deal with it makes a difference to how it affects you.
Yeah, because in that environment, I mean, it would be very easy to, in those moments where, like I said, it was like the velvet bag over my head, to lose your kind of mind a bit and go, oh, right, I'm done now. I'm getting disorientated. I want to get out of here. Whereas I wasn't like that. I was quite rational. And also in my Reiki sort of logic and the energy, like I said, there's not positive or negative. It's just energy. I can then change how I feel about energy there and start to radiate a more positive energy in this dark environment. So effectively be like, candle in a dark room.
So remember positive energy, because we'll look back at that in a second.
Right.
So the other side of it, the flip side of the can you bring something home with you, is a perspective that I share, which is no, you can't.
I think to an extent you could.
If an energy is linked to a building, an environment, it is there, and particularly a long-standing energy, it's been there for a long time and it hasn't gone anywhere. Why would it pick you and want to go to your lovely
well, that would have to be residual, wouldn't it?
Suburban 3-bedroom terrace when it's already got an environment that it's been comfortable in for thousands of years.
Well, yeah, you're not going to bring residual energy home with you. You can only bring mobile, and you can only bring entity energy home with you. It has to be mobile.
I still don't agree with that. I think that when people are affected, on occasion, when people are, I let you talk for ages. Stop it. When people believe that they are affected by energy, my perspective of that is no, they're not. It is around energy. It is that you have been affected or connected by this energy, and what it has done is unbalanced your energy, which affects your mood, it affects your health, and it affects your well-being. And it can take.
So I've been tired and grumpy today then.
Yeah, and if you don't have that balance, all of those things happen. And if you go and get a rebalancing, whether that's an energy or chakra balancing or a Reiki treatment, to rebalance you quickly afterwards, your body has got to re-find its equilibrium.
Well, which
can take hours, days, weeks, months. So sometimes when people come away and say, oh, I definitely brought something home with me and it made me really angry and really upset and I was snippy with people, it's my opinion, I don't believe that that is the case. I believe that your energy is out of balance and that it takes a long time to get back into balance and then yourself again. That's my
No, I agree. I
take
agree
on
with you.
that.
What I would say there is effectively what they are taking home from a venue is a souvenir of the energy. They've bought like a pencil with the name of the venue on it. That's how you're kind of explaining it, they've taken their portion of the energy away with them, but you can't take
No,
residual energy away from
I don't
a
think
building.
they're taking energy.
No, if they think they're taking the energy away.
Okay. Yeah.
But if it was a free floating, and like we spoke last week about potential demons, these free floating, free thinking, agenda making demons are
That you
available.
can't buy at the gift shop.
No, but you could find one of those in a haunted location and bring it back with you. That's theoretically possible under our paranormal terms and conditions.
That's not written anywhere, proved anywhere, or disproved anywhere.
No.
Potential is there, but I think it would do a little bit more than make you feel a bit crap and angry. I think if you are carrying a manifestation of evil within you,
Oh yeah, that would be draining.
then I think you'd know. I think it would be a little bit more than I woke up a bit grumpy today, bit snippy with everybody.
Yeah.
I would expect there to be more happening.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel a bit sick, a bit dizzy, a bit tired, and I'm grumpy. I would expect there to be more. So I asked you to remember positive energy.
Yep.
Why did I ask you to remember that?
I don't know. I remembered it, but can you remember why you asked me it? Remember your... What was I going to say? I can't remember now.
Oh, I knew that.
It was on the topic of, like I said, I don't believe that there is positive and negative energy. The intent is what gives the energy its intent. And the reason I say that is because if you're holding a really sharp knife, it's dangerous while I'm holding it if I'm threatening the other person. But if I pass them the knife, it's now as equally threatening to me as it was to them. There's equal balance. The knife is still the knife. The energy is still the energy. It's how you wield it that changes what it does.
Your interpretation
Yeah.
of it and what you do with it.
So if I want to focus my energy to make somebody's head explode, I could, but I choose not to. It's like Sheldon.
That's taking. That sounds like it would take a whole lot of effort that I'm not sure you could be bothered with.
If I thought somebody's head was genuinely exploded, if I put a bit of effort in, I'd focus on that. I would, yeah.
But who would you do that to? Maybe don't say out loud.
Hang on, let me get a pen.
Oh, he's got a list. All right, settle down, the boy that has no name.
Anyway, we're approaching the hour
The
now.
Hound.
The Hound.
Joffrey.
So yeah, that was my trip to the Hellfire
Cersei.
Caves with Paracom. But yeah, check their site out. Check their events out. They were good. Check out Mickey York's. He's going to do probably a better video of sort of the walk round. I'm going to put together what I hope for be about a 10 or 15 minute sexy little montage.
When he puts it out, we'll share it as well.
Yeah, of course we will.
People will get to see it.
But we're also going to do some more stuff. We're going to do some other stuff as well.
Oh, we need to organise something for Sunday coming.
What would you guys say to
Careful.
a really late Sunday share?
Right. I've got to do this so that people can't see it on the
failing that, we
screen.
could do a midweek one like we just did, but where we go out and do an investigation.
One that we will be doing.
Yeah.
At our usual. It won't be live.
No.
It will be a video.
I would like to do a live one, but like I said, we'd be sort of like 11 o'clock at night.
Not tonight.
And it does require quite a lot of lighting, which if I was going to give Paracom a bit of feedback, then that's what I would say. when they're filming
good?
stuff. No. You need better. They need better lighting.
All right.
When they're actually filming things like the raffle and the general public stuff, they needed better lights on their rig, so you could see. Just as a viewer, when I got home, I wanted to watch it. So I probably enjoyed that night. It was good. Still,
Excellent.
I'm knackered and buzzing from the whole situation.
Excellent.
So
we hope you learnt a little bit. We hope you enjoyed our waffle.
yeah. Mary, I'll tell you what though, I said to Mickey,
you might be asleep by 11.
Yeah, when we were driving to it, I said to Mick that normally by 10, 11 o'clock I'm asleep. And at one point he did have a joke about me just finding me in the corner somewhere, so I curled up in my coat. But I did all right. I actually managed to stay awake. So...
Don't know about you watching it the
We
next
probably
day.
will as
I
well.
might be watching it the
We'll
next
just
day.
set it to auto-publish in YouTube and go to bed. So it'll be fine.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I really have. I didn't think I would because I was very, very tired.
I knew we'd be all right
started.
once I got a coffee and a few comments, and I see the little light eyes up there to say that people are viewing and watching and stuff.
Yeah.
But it would be cool. And me and Mickey were talking about this because we're both vloggers. None of us are getting
any younger.
Yeah, no. Comments from you guys as to topics that you'd like us to cover. If there is something you'd like us to cover, let us know. Because if you don't let us know, we'll just assume that what we're doing is correct and we'll just carry on accordingly.
It's true. It is true. And I keep threatening that I'm going to put up a reading channel and then I get caught up with work and get too tired.
Yeah, right. So
one day.
It's tricky. But thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll see you next Sunday for the next exciting instalment of... Oh, what? Oh, it's Marion. Always enjoy listening to your waffle. She's talking to you there.
Sugar waffle. They're my favourite.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for your photo. Lovely, Chris. And we will post it up on the website so you can all have a gander and put your opinions.
So, yeah, we'll see you next week.